started. I'm going to need you to state your name and spell it for me.
My name is Kelly Ignace, KellyiGnace.
Okay, you can begin with the questions.
Okay. What's your name and how many kids do you have?
My name is Kelly Ignace, and I have two daughters. The oldest is 17, and the youngest is 14, soon to be 15.
How long have you been a single mom?
Since 2004. Yes, 10 years.
Okay. Remember to restate the question.
I've been a single parent for 10 years.
Are you comfortable discussing like how that happened? Was it like divorce or?
Yeah. Yes, I was divorced 10 years ago.
Okay. What was that like when you became a single mom? Like, did you go from being like a stay-at-home mom into like working several jobs to support?
I had when I got divorced, I had a small part-time job, but mainly I was a stay-at-home mother. And it was a frightening transition to make to being not just going to work full-time and leaving the kids, but being the sole breadwinner. And then doing that in the midst of a divorce, that's a huge transition. And so, I just really, my personality type just kind of plows through things. And so I just set my mind to it, and it just had to happen. But, there was a lot of guilt about that because I enjoyed kind of being the stay-at-home and bake cookies mom and having my kids have access to me at all times. And then I went to being unavailable a lot and them being in latchkey. And there was a lot of mom guilt there. Yeah.
Did you, what was the job that you had, like when you had to go get a full-time job, or did you have an education that you like kind of had to fall back on? Or?
Yeah, so it's interesting. When I went back to work, the part-time job that I had was very fitting with the degree that I had. So I have a bachelor's degree in resource planning and management. I never intended to use that degree for that purpose exactly. I had gotten it for a background degree for a master's in landscape architecture, but I never went and got my master's. So I ended up taking this part-time job as a recycling coordinator. And then I ended up taking a full-time position as an outreach coordinator, outreach specialist for Grand Traverse County in their recycling department as well. So I stayed within that. So I went from part-time to full-time kind of in the same thing. And so, yes, my degree was really helpful. Yes, I feel really lucky that I was able to, go back to work full-time, have an education behind me, and land a job where I could, pay for myself and my family. I mean, there's definitely no, it was a tight budget, but it was a lot more than a lot of people have. But that said, I look at people, it's incredibly hard. So I feel like I had a lot of advantages. I had a strong network of people that I knew. I had a great group of friends and an education behind me and a good dose of self-confidence. And going forward, it was still incredibly difficult to pull it all off. Yeah.
What are some of the financial changes you experienced? Like what you went from to, like, did that change a lot?
I can't say that in terms of the amount of money that I had, like discretionary in a budget, changed that much. It was more the responsibility level, and let me think. And then going through the divorce, the transition of going through the divorce, we had one house, our home, that we had to sell, and then there was a home that we were in the middle of investing in to sell, and I ended up with the responsibility of, selling and marketing both of those houses, which it was a lot because the one house was in a great deal of transition. The other house needed a lot of work just to ready it for sale, and so all that was happening at the same time that, I was going back to work full time, going through divorce, and putting my kids in school full time for the first time, because they were in preschool in first grade, going into first grade during this transition. So, I mean, it was transition all the way around.
Let's see. What were some of your biggest frustrations as a new single parent, and like even now, do you feel like your time has like it's gotten easier, or it's just kind of things have changed? Or?
So my biggest frustration, I think, initially as a single parent was kind of what I mentioned before about, mom guilt. You going back to work full time and feeling like I wasn't spending time with my kids, and that the latchkey people and the teachers were spending more time raising my children than I was. And that was really frustrating. And that, in summertime and all this, that, I guess maybe if you've dreamed of being a parent as you grew up, you dreamed of it happening, you're spending time with your kids and you get to go do these things. And I just wasn't. I was working all the time and they were doing those things with other people. And, that's a bitter pill to swallow. And it's a tough one. And so now it definitely was very crazy and busy then, and it's still very crazy and busy now. But I think in some senses you get used to managing the crazy busy and just learn to be a little crazy and go with it. And so, it's a lot of letting go and a lot of acceptance.
How do you balance your life? Like, what do you do to help you kind of manage you, I guess? Like, have some sense of like alone time or like personal space to work on yourself as a person. And
so initially when, I became a single parent, and it's very hard the first time that you are officially splitting your time with your kids and they're going off to your dad's, and it's really sad, and you've never experienced that whole before. And I recognized right away that like I couldn't spend any time, wallowing or feeling sorry or whatever, and that I was gonna have to make best use of that time. And so do the things that I need to do and that are hard to do when the kids are there. So whether it's running errands or whatever it is, or just getting my quiet time. And so to really try to concentrate those things into the time when the kids were gone. And, so that transition didn't last horribly long. I mean, I was pretty good at making my mind work through that. But in terms of overall balance, I was really horrible at it for a long time. I mean, bad. Because again, I'm this person who really believes I can do anything and that I'm invincible, and I just go, and I take everything on, and then I take too much on, and then I'm sick. And so, not really respecting my body or my need for space, mentally, physically, whatever it is. And, so I made that mistake several times over the last 10 years and, I guess kind of hit the wall and came to some health points where it was like, okay, my body was saying, you need to rest, and I'm going to make you sick, or I'm going to take away whatever energy just so that you will rest. And so it is very hard to balance. And so, I think I'm doing a much better job of it now, managing my energy output, getting the quiet time that I need. And again, like further back and in the beginning, I just felt guilty about taking that time. But, you definitely learn. And I guess I'd heard it over the years about you're not good to anybody else if you're not good to yourself, but when you're trying to fill all these roles, it's hard to make that part of your reality. So, but there's a lot of truth in it.
What roles do you feel like you had to specifically have to fill all the time?
Well, as a single parent, you have to fill a lot of roles. And so, there's obviously parenting, there's being the breadwinner, and then there's being a homeowner. And that means that you are the landscaper, you are the pet walker, you're the butcher, the baker, the plumber, the carpenter, because it's a tight budget and you just don't have the money to throw it having somebody else do these things for you. So, You know, when the roof needs to be cleaned off in the fall, or the gutters need to be cleaned out, I'm the one to do it. When the wood needs to be chopped, I'm the one to do it. When the pipes come apart under the sink, I'm the one to do it. And whatever else needs to be done, you know. And so there are, I mean, any number of roles. Yeah.
Was that a really hard transition for you? Did you kind of have to learn all of that as you went, or
No,
I'm self-sufficient?
I'm very self-sufficient. So I kind of grew up in a household where it was very can-do and do-it-yourself. So there were a lot of things that I knew going into that. I think maybe my bigger handicap was once in a while I needed to go, hey, somebody, I need help. You know, I mean, it was only a couple years ago after a big snowstorm knocked down some huge branches in our yard, and I was trying to haul this huge branch into the woods that I kind of stopped. I mean, it like rung me like a bell in my head, and I went, wow, I could have asked for help. I mean, it never occurs to me to ask for help. And it's part of the way that I was raised. And I was like, wow, I could have asked for help. What a revelation. And so that's become a little bit more of my operational plan now, is once in a while to say to somebody, you know, I could use some help. And yeah, that was hard transition. So.